Welcome back to Behind the Print podcast, where we feature industry leaders and uncover the creative minds and their businesses within the world of professional printing. Our mission is to provide you with inspiring, actionable resources that elevate your business projects and accelerate your journey to excellence in profit and in print. Today's episode is Create the World You Wish Existed, and joining me here today is the owner of Wallflowers and Cards, Lisa Davis. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
So if you're ready, let's just dive right in.
Okay.
So what can you tell me about your regular customers?
I get all sorts of customers from little kids to old ladies, basically anybody who likes flowers or some kind of fantasy or nature.
Pretty broad audience.
Yeah,
So, as I'm looking through your website, it looks like most, if not all, of your work is created entirely by hand.
it is. Well, it's created with three things. Fresh elements of nature, usually flowers, but it can be feathers or mushrooms or whatever. A flatbed scanner used in place of a camera, and a graphic arts program to finalize the image.
Okay, why the photocopier and not just a regular camera?
It gives a really unique look. A flatbed scanner gives you an image that almost looks like a cross between a photograph and a painting, and people who see it for the first time have no idea what the medium is. When I saw it for the first time, I didn't know what the medium was. So it gives an interesting look, and it is limiting because you can only scan what will fit and not crush a flatbed scanner, and it's a regular size document scanner. But yeah, it gives a unique look is why I like using it.
So, seeing as how you create all of this entirely by hand, how do you go about handling multiple orders?
Most of my orders are cards, which are easy to do. I do most of my sales at art fairs and craft fairs and that kind of audience. So I can do as many or as few as I want. And the orders I get online usually are sporadic enough that I can keep up with them. Obviously, like at Christmas, it gets busier and that kind of thing. But yeah,
Would you say Christmas is your busiest season?
I would say it is.
I can see those being very good Christmas cards. I also noticed on your website you have basically fairies for every season of the year.
I do. When I first started out, I was just doing floral images. And then one day I thought, well, gosh, that flower looks like a little dress, and that flower looks like wings, and that could be a head. And then I started incorporating pieces and parts of flowers into little fairy figures. And when I first started, I thought, oh, I bet I could find a fairy for every season. Well, I got carried away. And over the years, I have many fairies for each season. So even winter.
So during winter, there's obviously not that many flowers you can choose from. What do you use instead?
There's always seed pods, and I use dry shelf mushrooms. And believe it or not, you can make fairies from houseplants. I have a Christmas cactus fairy. I have kalanchoe fairies. I have all sorts of flowers that bloom in the house. You can make fairies out of too.
Okay. Can you walk me through your creative process a little more?
Well, I go out I'm an avid gardener, and that's how I got into this art form is I grow all my own flowers, and there's a woods in back of our house. And when I'm outside, I purposely go out sometimes just to scan to see what's interesting out there. I have found dead butterflies on the roadside that I pick up and carry home, dead grasshoppers in my swimming pool that, believe it or not, they have beautiful wings if you spread them out and dry them. I go for walks in the woods, and shelf mushrooms are always interesting, and lichen and bark. And there's so many things that if you look at it close up, they're just interesting to look at. And I can create individual little things I scan and then I incorporate them into a scene. I think my current favorite are the woodland scenes, working with the bark and the lichen and the moss and the shelf mushrooms and creating a little woodland scene with the fairies in them.
I bet if you have a cicada brood hatch around your property,
I
you can. I knew
I
you would use that.
I have cicada wings. They are intriguing. They're beautiful. And I've also done in a process in the graphic arts program, I can scan a cicada wing and then I can make like in a 20-step process, I can make a kaleidoscope thing.
Oh,
And
wow.
the way the light reflects from the scanner off the cicada wing, when you make it into a kaleidoscope, it looks like stained glass. It looks like a stained glass
Really?
design. It's really pretty.
Very interesting.
So, yeah.
So you have pretty much already answered this question, but aside from using a very unique medium of a photocopier instead of a camera, how else do you stand out from other artists?
Well, I don't think anybody in the shows the craft fairs and festivals that I've done, no one else, an art form called scannography. And if you go online, when I first started doing this, I started playing with my flowers and my scanner in 2004. And it took me a whole year before I got anything artistic at all. It's sort of a learning curve by trial and error. But if you now, there's a site online called scannography.org, and there are different artists working with all sorts of things. It's amazing what you can do with a scanner. If you scan something and you move while you're scanning it, it leaves this color trail behind. And people are doing all different things. And none of us, they all look different. Everybody apparently has different techniques. But yeah, there's just so much you can do with this art form.
Okay. Can you tell me about any major milestones you've made as an artist?
I've won a lot of awards. I feel like I'm all self-taught. I got into this because I love my flowers and I love nature, and to be self-taught, and believe it or not, all my work involves technology in some form or another, but I'm a technophobe. I don't know how to do many things, but the things I am passionate about, I just learn about. And I just like what I do.
Okay. So, how do you maintain your creativity and avoid burnout?
There are an endless variety of flowers, an endless variety of nature. And I don't know, ideas just come to me like this past year. And people give me ideas. They say, have you ever thought and of doing this? And for example, the calendar I printed this year has fairy houses, which somebody came into my booth at one of the festivals and said, have you ever thought about doing a fairy house? And I said, well, not really, but I think I'll try. And I started working with different elements. I used shells for one, and acorns and bark and all sorts of things. And I made different fairy houses in gardens and in woodland scenes and put little fairies in with them. And so they gave me that idea. But nature has endless inspiration. And since that's where I get most of my inspiration from, I've been doing this 20 years and I haven't run out of inspiration yet. So
It's a pretty much an endless supply.
exactly.
Okay. So, a bit of a different question here. If you had a day completely free to spend however you want, how would you choose to spend it?
Probably wandering outside in the woods, just wandering and looking and observing and taking things in, and surrounded by nature and birds and the sounds and the sights and the smells. Yeah, that's what I would do.
Yeah, getting more ideas.
Probably.
So, one last question for you. How can our listeners get in touch with you to learn more, collaborate on a project, or place an order?
I'm always available by email, wallflowersandcards.com. They can go to my website, and I think from every page they can get a hold of me. And I always answer my emails, usually within 24 hours. And if they're interested in something, all they have to do is contact me.
Okay. Well, did you have any other questions for me?
Not that I can think of.
All right. Well, I'd say that's a wrap on another episode of Behind the Print. Thank you, Lisa, for joining us, and thank
Thank you.
you to our listeners.
Thank you very much.
Remember, having a strong vision, building the right strategy, and using tools like print to amplify your message will make your brand stand out from the crowd. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to get your sample pack today from PrintingCenterUSA.com and share it with your fellow business enthusiasts. Until next time, keep those creative sparks flying, and remember, there's always more to discover behind the print.